So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the show. We're calling this the show. And this is the only public service watch announcement channel out there. We are the only ones. And the only thing that we ask of all of you out there is, not to forget to give us a thumbs up so our channel will continue growing and expanding out there, expanding. So please don't forget to give us that big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, if you want to do it. Believe me, you're not gonna regret it, right? I want to start off with precious metal materials. Rhodium today, the troy ounce price of rhodium is at $8,300 a troy ounce. Palladium is at $1,538. Platinum is at $1,652. Silver is at $52. And ladies and gentlemen, gold, where I left it off. Somebody already told me it's at 43.51, but where I left it at, it was at $4,386. And I don't see it, having any problem going back to the number of the 4,400 number and moving on up, right? I don't see that. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Now that we got that out of in the open and you guys know what's going on with those precious metal materials, you know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that as I study gold, I study watches even more, because watches to me is my passion. Time is beautiful. Time is beautiful. Don't let nobody play with your time. Don't let nobody, waste an hour of your life. One of these mashuganas, don't do that. Don't give up your hours to nobody. Time is precious, So, to me, my first love, and I want you guys to know this, my first love is watches. I love watches. I think, watches are beautiful. And like I said again, time is the most beautiful thing that we have. Time is like, you turn around that sand thing, and it starts dripping the sand down. And then when the last sand drops, you're done, Te fuiste y más nada, you're gone. So I want you guys to know that. But as I am a student of watches, saludos to you, Alex, saludos. A student of watches, I also can see what's going on because I can see it, I can see it. I can see what's going on, and I want to give you guys a head start that I told you that things out there are very erratic in the watch business. What is the gray market? The gray market. They're going bananas, They did a good movement there. They did a good move, moving the football, from the 5-yard to the 15-yard. They did a good move, but it flopped because nobody is buying watches. And how do I know? Because I watch all the auctions that are going on. There are auctions everywhere. And when I tell you this, you're going to go, wow. So you understand, they have auctions on the Tiffany blue Dow Daytona, Oyster Flex, the new one, yellow gold with the Tiffany, is already an auction. The John Mayer, the guitar guy, that one, with the green Dow and the... Am I getting some thunder lightning out there, gentlemen? Can you guys hear me? Can you 14 Organic Watch channel subscribers hear me? Give me a peace sign, Show me a peace sign if you guys can hear me. Super. I will continue then. So all these watches like the John Mayer with the green dial and the gold gauges, they are in auctions. Basically, they cannot flim-flam people out there. They cannot flim-flam people out there because people have woken up. Especially this channel. This channel has done a lot of work, passing the word around. We're like somos bíblico, you know, somos bíblico. We're like the Bible, you know, we help out, you know, people, they're struggling, you know, with something they're consuming. In your case, you guys are consuming watches, you know, watches, auctions online. You know what I'm trying to say. They're everywhere. Papi, they're everywhere, whatever. Listen to me. I belong to so many different watch groups. It's disgusting, you know, disgusting. And I can see everything from WhatsApp chats, you know, the chats to social media groups. They're everywhere, and everybody's going belly up because nobody is selling watches. I want you to know, eso es así, eso es correcto, la cura. I want you guys to know that I received, when I say biblical, I'm going to explain to you why. I received an unbelievable message, you know, from a very, very bitter and salty, you know, person, I'm telling you, people, they've been saying for the last, and I'm telling you this, for the last 4 years, don't worry, you're not going to be here for long. 1 year went by. Don't worry, you're not going to be here for long. Me, you know, not me, Sweet Kid Kino. He's the owner of the channel. I'm just the voice. I'm the voice, Kino's the brains. Don't worry, you're not going to be here 2 years. And again, don't worry, you're not going to be here 3 years. And yesterday, 4 years, somebody sends me a comment saying, you know, it's incredible what you're doing. I don't know if you guys saw the comment. You know, the guy was, you know, you can see he was bleeding, you know, bleeding out of his teeth, bleeding out of his eyes, you know. He was saying that I can't believe what you're doing. You know, what you're talking is this, what you're talking is that, what you say is this, that. You know, and I just localized them, you know, I localized them. I told them to, you know, I'm going to give you a localization to relax you. And I gave him a localization. I told him, relax your body, relax your muscles, you know, and do the logo, you know, because people are angry, you know, that I'm still here. You know, I want you guys to understand this, what I'm telling you. You know, he was very bitter. And he was angry and he was bleeding from the eyes. He was hurting. And so I got that message, and I want to pass it to you guys so you understand where we at. You know, they want us to stop. You know, they want us to stop, you know, saying the watch market is dead. You know, it's Halloween month, you know, and you know that the vampire, you know, Dracula, I think Dracula was scared of ¿cómo se llama aquí no eso? El ajo en inglés, el ajo. I think it's garlic, you know, he was scared of garlic. I don't know what it was, Dracula. So when we use the word, you know, maybe it was probably the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown or, you know, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, you know, it can be him, or it can be the Walrus Fat Bastard, or the 2 Jehovah Witness brothers, or the 2 toddler body brothers out of Miami, or Big Pun and Heavy D, you know, from over there too. You know, these people, the Hungry Hippo, Mr. Magoo, they're all going bananas, you know, because, you know, Papi, I have slowed this whole thing down all by myself. You know, in Sweet Kid Kino, we have single-handedly disrupted, dismantled, rattled the Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market all by ourselves. All by ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We are unbelievable what we have done. You know, we are like, you know, one of those frequency radios. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable what we've done. You know, we've done an unbelievable job. So I wanted to let you know what's going on with the watch market. They're bleeding through their ears. They are bleeding through their ears, and it's all because of this man right here. Sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you. Don't forget, you cannot call him Kino if you don't know him in a friendly basis way. He likes to be called Joaquin, just to let you know. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. Everything is an auction. Everything is an auction, you know, and there's people out there, let's say, I'm going to use this example because I got a friend of mine's here. He's live. His name is Alex. And I don't know if he sold it or not, but he was always asking me about his Rolex stainless steel left-hand Sprite. You know, the Sprite, the one with the green and black ceramic bezel. I saw one out there, ladies and gentlemen. They had it for $15,000 and they couldn't move it. Brand new, fully sticker, and they had to put it where? In the auction. Papi, they don't want to tell you that. Now, I'm going to change the conversation again to another thing. There's another gentleman. I told you yesterday about the gentleman from Japan or from, I don't know, or from China. Good for you, Alex. Good for you. Or from China, or the one, what that has the, that olive oil voice, If you want to say their names, you can put it up there so the people, exactly, thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, I told you about those two people that they had the arrows like that, because they were going bananas, the arrows going down. But ladies and gentlemen, there is another gentleman that he has an English accent, and he has his head shaved. I think it's naturally, he shaves it, or maybe it's naturally, and he also has one of those voices. He's unbelievable. He sits under a light, and he talks. And ladies and gentlemen, I have respect for this man. If you guys know who I'm talking about, he's what there, and we don't know what the price is. He talks like that, un hombre preparado, Yes, and he wears some glasses and then he's bald, and he wears like an army jacket, I don't know, from the Marines. He's unbelievable, that guy. And ladies and gentlemen, he was talking, are we being lied to? Good evening, Mr. Thurston Howell III. Good evening, happy to have you here. We don't know, he was saying, we don't know what's going on. Papi, no sean lambones. This is the #1 watch market update show in the world. In the world. You know who I'm talking about, him. The English trooper, that guy. And if you hear what he was saying, he was bombarding. He would say, listen, the only thing they need to say is, Sweet King Kino has been saying it for 3 years. And we and them, they have been artificially pushing this agenda on all of you. They have been pushing the watch agenda on all of you. You know who I'm talking about, Soli. He's bald. I take it back. I think he shaved his head, or it can be naturally, And he's sitting down, and the only thing he needs is tea, tea bag, and he's unbelievable, that guy, They're pushing and pushing, but they can't no more. They cannot continue pushing because, the guy with the olive oil voice is gonna look silly, and the guy from Asia, but the guy from Asia, he's a maniac. He even takes out, those lines that Mr. Donut puts down, analytics, and, they're going everywhere. He puts everything. And let me tell you, the guy from Japan, let's call him Japan. The guy from Japan, yeah, that right there, Mr. Donut. The guy from Japan, listen to this, the charts, exactly. You're not going to believe this. The guy from Japan, I respect him because he's very, un tipo cuadrado, el chino ese, increíble, this China figure, he's unbelievable. And he says, well, let me tell you something. This cannot be the way it is because numbers don't lie. Chino, the guy from Japan, he says, numbers don't lie. And we put this number here, and we put this number here, and we put this number here. This is the guy from China, and he said the watch market is dead. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. So we got three people. We got the olive oil voice, Japan man, and the English bulldog. They say we cannot continue, fencing for these people because, we cannot continue. Even though probably they're getting greased up, they're getting greased up to say it. They can't no more because los números, el chino, Japan said the numbers don't lie. I'm going to tell you how he said it. And the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. The watch market right now is going through some very bad times. I said, oh my God. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Donut. You know what I'm talking about. You know it's a trademark, Renato. You know it's a trademark. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something else, ladies and gentlemen. You are witnessing and you are all being bombarded with the 2025 gold rush. You know, saludos, Aquiles, saludos. With the gold rush, they are attacking you with gold everywhere. They're talking about gold here, gold there, gold down there. You know, the gold rush, the 49ers. This is unbelievable what's happening. The California gold rush. I mean, they got all kind of names, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. Gold is about to hit 4,400 again. Unbelievable. They are attacking everybody. And the Americans son oportunistas. They're opportunists, you know. ¿Cómo se dice oportunista aquí, no? Oportunista en inglés. You know, they take advantage of all of us, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. What they're putting all over social media. You know, okay, eso mismito, sabe, you know, sabe. All over, you know, all over. Yo, Leo, hello, how are you, yo, Leo? They're putting this everywhere. Listen and learn so you know what's going on, gentlemen. This is unbelievable. Los Americanos, wherever they can make a penny, they're there. They're number one. And they know, you know, you had to go rush in 18-something, you know, the California gold rush, the 49ers came out, you know, looking for gold because they were going to become rich. Ladies and gentlemen, the Americans already came out. You know those people that go to the rivers and they take a pan and they put it there with all the dirt and they shake it around and they shake it around, you know? Meanwhile, the dollar's worth a penny, you know? The dollar's, the miners, although it's worth a penny, the dollar's worth a penny. So the people will go with those pans, you know, and shake it around to get, you know, gold. And, you know, and they've been selling that forever. Now the Americans just finished taking out a new product and put it all over on Bookface, you know, on Gram Insta, you know, Gram Insta. I mean, it's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. You have to hear me out, please, Papa. You have to hear me out. So they had those pans. And now the Americans, right away, you know, where's money to be made, son los primeros ahí, papá. They're the first there. If there's money there, we're going to be there. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. They came out with the spinning pan. You know, right now, if you look for it, it's all over social media. All over social media. The spinning, you know, the spinning pan. It goes around like that. It has a motor. It has a motor in the back, and it's spinning. And it has like una manguera. You know, like una manguera. You know, when you're washing your car, I forgot how to say that, you know? Una manguera. ¿Cómo se manguera en inglés? You know when you know what I'm trying to say. You know when you throw water at the flowers. You know what I'm trying to say. Help me out, ladies and gentlemen. You're part of the show. You know I forgot the name of that. You know, you know it's green. You know we have a couple. The garden hose. Thank you very much, Julius out of Miami. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alex. Everybody, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You connect the water hose to the back of the spinning, you know, tycoon, how to become rich with gold, you know? And they're selling it, you know, for $149. It's electric and it goes spin. You just throw the dirt in there, and what's heavy is gold. It stays behind, and the dirt goes into a basket. You know, everybody is taking advantage of the situation with gold, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just letting you know we are being attacked. You know, we're being attacked, and they don't care because, you know, they venden un par de plástico de eso. You know, the little motor probably costs over there, you know, over there, that side over there, it costs them, you know, $8, $6. I don't know, right? $6, the little plastic, you know, little pipe, you know, transparente, another 50 cents. And then the little plate that spins around probably $1.75, you know? And they're asking let's say $139, $150. And all the lambones, you know, when they hear that, you know, your young 17-year-old son, you know, you want to become a tycoon in the gold business, you need to buy this. And they're pushing it, and they're pushing it. So just to let you know how things are going with gold, okay? I'm letting you guys know. Ladies and gentlemen, I have something else to tell you that is very interesting. Yeah, like an infomercial, that kind of stuff, but it's in social media and the gram and the book face, they're everywhere. And the thing spins around and it has like layers, where, whatever's heavy stays behind. It even selects for you the gold. Unbelievable, these people, man. Unbelievable. For only $39.99, you can get and become a tycoon, gold expert. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to say something that I always used to wonder why when you send containers out, or when another person is another country, and you become their friend in the business, and they ask you, I have a big load, I have a big load of a container. Please hear this, okay? I have a big load of a container, and I would like to know, Juan, if you can help me out with this. The container's already packed already. We had it there for 2 months, right? And I said, no problem. If you need me to move it for you, I'll get my broker. He'll move it for you. He'll move the container for you. Back to India, okay? Back to India. So as time went by, you become kind of curious, what's inside that container. So I asked Victor. His name is Victor Patel. I asked Victor. I said, Victor, with all due respect, but what do you have in there? And he tells me, Bobby, this is years ago. He tells me, you're not going to believe what I have in there, Does anybody know what I'm going to say that he has in there? I asked him, what do you have in there? And, he started laughing because he was going to tell me. And he was surprised that I never asked. And I never looked at, at the goods, No, none of that. No, none of that. None of that. No spices either. But check this out. You're gonna be in for a big show. Let me tell you, the closest one, his name is Alex. The closest one is Alex. And right now, Mr. Donut. So I asked him, and he tells me, Juan, I have there millions and millions of phones, electronic phones. And I said, wow, for real? And he says, yes, I have it full of phones, like Nokia phones, flip phones, big banana phones, all that good stuff. And he was sent all that back to India, a container full of phones. And I don't know if you guys, these people are unbelievable. I don't know if you guys know this, but these people from India, they don't pan. They don't pan to go in the rivers. They don't do none of that stuff. They pan it with electronic goods, iPhone SIM cards. If you look at a SIM card, the SIM card has a little plate, a little plate in little plate that goes in the chip where you put it in. It has a little plate, and it has certain parts of the phone that has a gold, pure gold. So, he explained to me the whole gig, and I go back. Remember that everything that I learned, I put it to perspective, And he explained to me, electronics has this, computers have this. He was telling me other things, RAM connectors, words I don't even know what they are, but they have all these different things, They have gold. So I started asking, so how do you do this? Well, there's a lot of plug pins that you take all those pins and you put it, it's how can I say this, man? The way these people do this, you will freak out the way they do this, man. You say, oh my God, these people are not 49ers. These people are not in the gold rush, in the mines, in the rivers. No. Their mining is in electronics, I mean, it's called it's gold is the e-waste. They call it the e-waste. E-waste. Exactly. They separate the parts And this is going to blow your mind because these motherfroggers are so, I mean, listen, where credit is due, and you give it to them, and that's it. I said, Victor Patao, ustedes son una jodienda. Victor Patao, you guys were incredible. He says, listen, when this gets here, we start separating everything. We start separating ding, 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 all the, the board pins, esto es increíble. Old computers, all that junk. And what they do is they put it in this hydrochloric acid, they put everything there. Listen to this so you understand what's happening with gold. Because me and Victor, we talk, and he says, you don't have an idea what we've done, I said, oh my God, Victor. He says, Juan, what we have done with the gold right now is because we were buying these things, these phones. Basically, we were buying junk, but out of that junk, we were getting I think it was 0.034. 0.034 from is it what is it, a gram? Let me make sure, guys, because I want to give it to you so you understand these guys, what they do. Esto es increíble. What they do, they take, it's 0.034 of an ounce. I mean, of a gram. It's genius. Son unos genios. These people, that's the word. Thank you very much, Renato. Son unos genios. It's when they put it there in that bucket. Check this out. They have the right products. Victor showed me everything. I said, listen, forget about mining in the rivers, in the mountains, and here, there. Man, what you need to do is just, you take a container, you leave it there, and you put an ad and load it up with phones, electronics. But in this case, let's talk about the phones. And they take all those parts and they throw it in buckets. With a uric acid dissolver. And check this out. This is the punchline, man. That acid, es que son brutal. A little bit of jungle juice, guys, because I'm going to give you something now that's going to knock your socks off. They put it in that bucket. And that chemical, when they put it there, it reacts. And it gets all the metals and all the junk. And it eats it, my man. It eats it. So lo come a gram. It eats it all up. And you know what's left there in the bottom of that bucket? It might be a little bit to you, but it just adds up. It adds up. All the gold goes to the bottom of the bucket. What is left, thank you very much, Renato. Coño, Renato, you know about this then. Maybe you're one of those people that does that. Maybe you're one of them. Everything is in the bucket, in the bottom. Y se comió todo. And I say, so what happens then? Then he says, then from there, we take it. We're going to send it now. So, it becomes like a paste solution. Papi, what I'm teaching you guys for free. It doesn't cost nothing. This is like, that magazine, Geographic? What's the name of that magazine? You know what I'm talking about. The magazine that comes out every month is kind of yellow, National Geographic. This is like National Geographic, It's unbelievable. And I'm saying, Victor, so what happens? Then after that, it becomes like a gold. It's like a golden dust and a paste. It's like a paste. Like a paste, a solution. Occurs using, reducing, and aging to convert gold to metal powder. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. These people. This is why these people have the right to become rich. This is why they have the right to become rich. because we are skip hopping around through life like rabbits waiting for something good to happen. These motherfroggers ain't waiting for something good to happen. They're gonna make it happen. They're gonna make it happen. And then they take that, they dry it up, and they press it and send it to casting. Unbelievable. Send it to casting to make a brick. To make a brick. No son lambones, papi, no son lambones, no lo son. No, they're not, no son palomos. No son palomos, ni lambones. Then they send it to casting. I said, but what do you mean, Victor? Yes, we send this now, and we're going to convert it into I don't know, 2 pounds, 1 pound, I don't know. And I said, oh my God, yes. And this is what we do. And this is what we, our factory here of granite and the machinery, our CNC, this is how we do. We buy things, with gold. We sell gold, we get money, we buy our machinery. And sometimes he told me when I spoke to him not too long ago, I said, so what's better right now, the granite business, the stone business, or the gold? He says, most of the gold that we've been mining ourselves, they're mined, they're electronics, piece by piece, separating components. They separate the components, the most gold is usually the most valuable, They put it everywhere. You got silver, you got this, copper. Una jodienda por todo el lado. These people son maestros, son masters, they're masters. These people have a degree that, you say to yourself, pero coño. The Americans are thinking about the pan that goes around in circles with an electric motor and a little, see-through hose to get you, so you can become a millionaire going to the river and to the mine, getting, the soil. Esos son los americanos. Those are the Americans. But los Hindu, they're thinking already. They know already. Because nobody knows about, Tom, Dick, and Harry. They don't know about this. They don't know that in that phone that they gave you, $4, $3, 50 cents, those are the numbers, 50 cents, $1, 75 cents. You got their pieces. And yes, it's a very small amount of a gram, 0.034. Es lo que hay ahí, which sounds like nothing, but when you have millions of them, papi, is unbelievable. So because he told me already, he was telling me, in our country, we have sucked them dry. You know what I'm saying? In their country of India, saludos, Doc Maker, Florida, saludos. They have, sucked, India dry. There's, the phones, everybody. Because don't think it's just Victor Patel doing it. There's other people that do it to other people. But, these people that have the el capital, el dinero to, sit down all these people online, get the pieces, and you should see them. Look for it, and you're going to say, coño, this John, he's telling us, like it is. They sit down, all of them, and they start, separating, components. This one, component A, B, C, D, copper, silver, gold. This is what we want, gold, gold, gold. And they say that they have so much gold, from doing that right now they are concentrating, they're leaving the quarry. The quarry is where they get the stones, where they get the blocks. And they're concentrating on precious metal. And it's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. If you take an iPhone, the iPhone, like the new one that I got now, it doesn't have the chip, the SIM card now. It's already inside because you can't even get it out. But the phone that I had before, you can push it, with a little pin, and it will come out. And the little thing in the back is gold. It's a little plate, and that little plate is pure gold. Es que they deserve, what they have, they deserve, because the whole thing, the result is a golden paste-like solution Next, precipitation occurs using a reducing agent to convert gold to metal powder. Then the powder is dry. The powder is dry, preserved, and sent for casting to make it a brick. Papi, it's the people are going nuts. And he told me, he was telling me in the phone, he says, you don't have an idea. You know, their country, if some of you are from India, please help me out with this. But he tells me that over there, I mean, one of their biggest things over there is gold. I mean, I'm talking about even a dress of pure gold, a crown of gold, I don't know, a tunic of gold. You know what I'm trying to say? Everything is gold over there. And he says that this has been sent by, he tells me that this has been sent by that. Because these people have been putting it away. You know what it is to send it to cast and get a big, gigantic. Exactly, right? They love gold, man. They love gold. They just love gold. They like to see it. And he was laughing with me, like saying, I said, yeah, I remember everything you showed me. But at the time that he showed me that, gold wasn't blowing up. It was, 1800, 1750, 16 something. But now this thing has gone all the way up to the moon. So now I get to talk to him and he tells me everything. He says, no. Right now we're concentrating and we have 4 and 5 containers full of electronics. Because like I said again, there is a few different things that they use in there. Right? It's silver, copper, gold. What was the other one? They're all separated all. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, luxury gentlemen, is that, here in the States, they're pushing you. Here's the new pan, so you can become a tycoon, a gold tycoon, Go over there and start looking for gold in the backyard of your house. Throw the soil there, No, these people are thinking the right way. They already know that there's gold in there. Does anybody understand what I'm trying to say? These motherfroggers, and I mean motherfroggers in a good way, in a good sound way, they know there's gold in there already. They know. Give it to me. So you have all these factories that they get all these phones. Let me tell you, these people, hay que darle un premio. You have to give them an award. So what happens is you say, so how do they do this? Well, they have different contacts set up with factories. Like, let me give you an example, names that you probably forgot about. Nokia, give me some names, some weird names, Nokia. Well, they have all these, Yes, absolutely, Mitch, absolutely. Damon, welcome back. I'm happy to have you in the show. I'm really happy to see you in the show. So they have all these contacts with all these factories that people come in and they trade in. They say they're going to give them 50. Let me explain to you. It all works like a charm. When they tell you, bring in your phone, don't matter how it looks. Don't matter, we're going to give you $100 credit on your phone, right? So you go in there and you give them that Nokia. I'm going to say Nokia because the only one I remember now is iPhone and Samsung. But there's a lot of different brands. Help me out, guys. Come on. You know what I'm trying to say. Help me out. So isn't these factories conditions nasty? Yes. They're very okay. You're saying it. I believe you. So what happens is these people give in their phones. They give them a credit for $100. Which is a sketch. They're not giving you nothing. They get your phone, they throw it back there, Motorola, thank you, Motorola, right? Motorola, and they throw it back there. So they have a contact with all these factories. They say, we need the phone because it's the, how do you call it? The 4G, 5G, 3G. They give them the sketch. It's the 4G. We use it over here. In India, we have almost 2 billion people here. We need phones. Yeah, we're going to sell it to you. Send a container. We'll give it to you for 50 cents. Each phone, give it to me. They load it up, Sony, and they send it back to India, papi. And they start paneling, They start, playing with the gold. You know, instead of with a pan, they already have it inside the phone. They take it out and they got, they got Charlie, Tommy, Bobby, Louie, they're on the line and they take, separating all the parts and putting it in a bucket. You put it in a bucket. You know what I'm trying to say. 3G, Super G, 4G, 5G, and they put it in the bucket and then, that acid, I don't know, it's unbelievable what they use. It's an acid, it's a muriatic acid. Muriatic acid, I think it's used to clean the pools. You know what I'm saying? And then they use another solution. It's unbelievable. It's like the try. Stop it, guys. Isn't this a good show? Come on, guys. You guys get some humor in your life with me, right? You guys get to laugh and blow some steam. So they have all those people online and they're separating all the components and the part that freaked me out was, he says, once we put everything in there, once we pour everything in there and we put the different solutions, acid, this solution, that solution, they just look at it, they get up. I imagine these people have to wear, masks. I imagine, right? I don't know about this, but they put it there and they just go for a walk. They go take a leak in the bathroom. And when they come back, Papi, all those materials from the electronics, computers, radios, they're gone, Papi. They're gone. They're all gone. And then they just go to the bottom. They take the bucket. El café, when you make coffee, que lo vas a colar. You know what I'm saying? The coffee that you put it like, I don't know how you call that. It has like a little net, but it's very, very tiny, So the water will go through, but the rest of the beans or whatever don't go through, you know what I'm trying to say. And they put it there. And he tells me, how much do you think when I do that? How much do you think I have? And I said, I don't know, I don't know, 2 ounces. And he looked at me like I had 50 heads. A filter. They don't even have. It's tan poquito. It's so small what they have. It's unbelievable. Boom. They take the next one. Do it again. Do it again. And at the end of the day, all that gold, which they lo van curando, they go cure it. They're curing it all up. And now it's ready for casting. And that's when they all come out, all the owners, to salute the owl. You know what I'm saying? They all come out to salute the owl. Because now this gold is going to become a bar. It's going to, from a paste to powder, all that, all those different levels. And now to casting. And that's when the owners come down to take a look at their bars. They take their bars, put it in the safe for a rainy day like right now. Papi, that's why el dinero a esa gente no se la termina, it doesn't finish. These people are always thinking. It's not like me. What I do for a living for real is I sell flooring. I sell coverings, countertops, flooring, marble, granite, quartz. That's what I do. And then what I do on the side, I like to collect watches, buy watches, play with watches, right? But these people, they're not playing with watches. They're playing con mucho dinero. Because on that, it comes out. You see, so we got 150th Street. You see, there's no silver out there. There's no silver. So I wanted to share all that with you because you guys need to know what's going on. And the fever is for real, man. The fever is for real. Thank you, Mr. Dona. Thank you. So the fever is for real. and people are going nuts. And I asked him, so where do you where are you going? Where do you see gold going up? And he just tells me, these people that are involved in this, they really don't want to give no numbers out, but they're saying that wow, really, he premium over spot on silver eagles. Okay, he just says to me, it's just going to continue going up. And so today, it was yesterday when I made the live stream, gold was at $4,212. And nighttime came and it started moving to $4,251. And I can safely say that it's going to hit 4,400 if it hasn't hit $4,400. Okay, listen, I don't see a goal right now taking guys. Getting into politics is not good, but you have to, because this is how you can see what's happening with precious metals and the economy and the dollar and all that. As you know, I don't know if you know that some guy was over there, in one of those coconut trees over there in West Palm Beach. He had a coconut tree and he was sitting up there. They say he was sitting up there and he was watching, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue. When the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue wants to come to relax, he goes to a house he has over there in West Palm Beach. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So he was over there, but los lambones, the service secret, they noticed there was like a thing, up there in a tree, and they had to, they had to take him, running, let's get out of here, things are not right, things are not right. You still have this, that place over there, Mr. Dono, that place. You have that situation going over there with Venezuela. Yes, it's going to happen. No, it's going to happen, back and forth. I think this is what, the 20th, the 21st day or the 20th day of the Zorro George shutdown. That's what they're calling it. I'm only saying what they're calling it, Don't believe what they say. Both teams play the same way, Both teams cheat. Both teams. Blue or red, they all cheat. That's what I got to tell you. So I thought I should share all this with you guys, and so you understand what's going on. If you believe, if you believe me, that's exactly the Uni party. That's it. That's it. The guy, he looked like the Purdue guy with the chicken. That at one moment he was running as ¿cómo se llama el partido de él? He was running alone. He was making his own party. I forgot his name. Paul. I think his son is somewhere involved in politics. But every time somebody tries, if you notice this, there's only two colors, red or blue. Pero, right? That guy, he tried to make his own party, and they told him, Ross, that guy, he tried to do his own party, and they did this to him. Get out. So, nobody can come in there. Ron Paul is his son, I think. Ron Paul is his son. So that guy was trying to do his own party, and it didn't work. And it will never work because there's only two colors. Two colors. And they talk bad about each other and rip each other and all that. And at the long run, you're never going to see the files. You're never going to see those files. It's an agreement, It's an agreement, and you will never see those files. And it's sad, but it's the truth. It took me years. It took me years to understand what my beloved father was trying to explain to me, and what my beloved old friend, Paco Gambino, was trying to transmit to me. Transmit to me. It's just the same. He would go like this to me. It's the same shit with a different smell. Both parties. Es una porquería, And that's how it is. Listen, there's people that still believe it. There's people. Okay, let me catch myself again. You got people that believe that Earth is round, and you got people that believe that Earth is flat. Right? Did you get that? Some people believe that the world is round. Kino believes that the world is round, and I believe that the world is flat. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm making it easy for you guys. So they have always brought professional people. Exactly. Thank you, Damon. Thank you very much. There's always people talking about flat and round. So this, if you want, you Google it. So two geniuses, they were saying that if Earth is round, why doesn't the water fall down, right? The water, like a cascade, One was saying that one, and the other one was saying something about flat too, ba, 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 ba. But I'm going to just skip everything to make it simple for you. So those two geniuses got together and they said, we're going to go to one side and you're going to go to this side. We're going to throw a laser beam to see if the world, if and they were not taking no fentanyl, and they were not taking no CHT or the one they sell in the convenience stores in the 911s. They were doing it straight, So they went each side. This is for real. I'm laughing with you guys, but this is for real. So these two experts went and they threw a laser beam, If it's round, the laser cannot go like that, right? It can't go like that. So when they did it, listen to me, you palomos. When they did the laser, esto es una locura, man. I don't even know how I get into these conversations with you guys, man. It's like I'm drinking coffee with you guys. Allegedly, guys. So when they did the beam, when they did the laser beam, it went straight. It went straight. That's the moral of the story, guys. All right. I'm going to give you a little watch market update so you guys can go, happy, to your loved ones and do what you have to do. I thought that you guys needed to hear, what these people from India have been doing for many, many, many years. And we Americans, we don't have, no tenemos la capacidad, to understand, exactly, no thunder lightning now, okay. No tenemos, we don't have the capacity to, this is a must-see TV. So, listen to me, guys. Earth is round, okay? Earth is round, okay? But I take it back. He's the one that believes it's flat, So I'm gonna just say that, we here in America, no tenemos la misma pasión. We don't have the same passion that some of these countries have to be able to, make money out of, out of nothing, basically, What do you spend on a container, on the big can, the freight? And what do you spend on the material you're getting? 50 cents, 75 cents a piece? I don't know, I don't know. And you're getting all this, all this money. So I just thought I should share this to you guys so you guys know what's happening around the world, that gold is for real. And somebody asked me right now in the chat that we have here, that somebody from the 47th Street, over there from the Diamond District, the guy, 10 Commandments, says that gold is gonna die out. Eventually, it will die out, guys. It will, and it's our job to monitor it if you're playing with gold or playing with any precious metal, so you don't get pinched. That's your job. That's your job to follow it, you know. And I'm talking serious now. It's your job to follow it. I can't be following it for you every day, and I can't be taking the blame for you if anything happens, you know. Like that guy is saying, the guy, the Ten Commandments up there from Manhattan, you know, from downtown, you know, Canal Street down there, you know. You know, so you guys got to be aware of that because eventually it will stop. But I'm telling you again one more time, silver is the sleeper, you know. Silver is the sleeper, and I'm telling you that these people are just they're just really attacking all the silver they wanted for themselves. They know where it's at. They know how to get it. And so you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Wicked. You're very welcome. So, I'm just letting you guys know, and all square business and talking for real. Right now, I feel like I'm talking right now to one of my people that work with me at, what I do for a living, and I'm talking to you like that. You gotta be on your lookout. Don't fall asleep. And if you have a lot of bars and if you have a lot of money invested, some people, they bought gold at $1,500 an ounce, and today is at 44. I'm rounding it up to 44, and they're still hoping it's going to keep on jumping. My thing is that I told all of you, I said everything is dead. Buy gold. I said that 4 years ago, and I'll continue to say it. But it's your job to know when to cash in, so you guys don't get burned. I'm saying this because somebody told me that, one of those fellas from over there from 47th Street are promoting and saying that, gold is going to die. And I'll be the first to tell you, of course, everything is going to die. Everything is going to die out. Everything. Do I see it dying out right now? Papi, there's too many frogging things happening in the world, man. There's too many things happening in the world. It's too many things happening in the world. And they're not good. They're just, bad things are happening. I don't know if you guys know. And maybe you guys know already too. And I don't even like to talk about this guy no more, but I have to. But this man, from BlackRock, Larry Fink, a week before, does anybody know what I'm going to say or no? Anybody know? A week before that, catastrophe, that drop on Bitcoin, he cashed out, whatever you want to call it, a billion in Bitcoin. You guys know that, or you guys don't know that? Do you guys know about that, what he did? So these people all have they all have somebody, they all have un padrino, they all have a godfather. And they're told, man, and anybody like that, you heard about it, okay. Look, he didn't know about it. Man, he went and said, hey, man, cash me out. I did not. There you go. So this is what I'm trying to say, that, it's hard for me to say that it's going to die out. I'm going to say, listen, man, it's not going to die out right now, because all those people, all those, big shots, they're worth 50, 40, 60 million dollars. They're moving around gold, physical gold. They want to touch it. I told you that word a month ago, physical, lo quieren en la mano, but I'm going to tell you something. If it does stop, it's going to stop like when it stopped at, $800 and it was there for a time frame. It's going to stop like it stopped when it was at $1,800 and it stopped for a time frame, and then it moved again. I believe wherever it stops, this one is going to stay there. Am I making sense to you guys? Exactly. But listen, nobody's buying watches, luxury gentlemen. I told everybody today, and I don't think you were here, and I'm changing conversation now, but every single person that's involved in watches, and I'm going to make it simple for you guys so you understand what I'm saying. The John Mayer yellow gold with the new green dial with the gold gauges, they have it in auction. They cannot move it. the Tiffany with the blue dial, yellow gold, oyster flex. You know, they cannot move it. They put it in an auction. They have everybody's putting everything in an auction. Ladies and gentlemen, they have a watch there, which is an AP Royal Oak, an Adamas Piquet Royal Oak, white gold with a beautiful, you know, smoke ombre, whatever you want to call it, ombre blue dial, 41 millimeter, 41 millimeter. Unbelievable. This blue dial 41. In the reference number, if you guys want to know, is the 15510 BC. B as in boy, C as in Carlos. It's an unbelievable watch. 41 millimeter, ladies and gentlemen. And this watch, they're there. They have it there for 97, 98, 107. It just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. And now they have it in an auction because nobody is buying the watch. This is a beautiful watch. This is you know, un relosazo. White gold, blue dial. Reference number 15510 with the BC. When you see BC, it's an ombre dial, smoke ombre blue dial. They can't get rid of it. And I'm going to tell all of you, don't pay more, and don't pay more than $85,000. Don't pay more. Do you want to know? You want to know the comps? You want to hear the comps? 175, 160, 150, 130. Nobody can sell it, papi. Get it through your head. Like the guy with the skin head, you know, with the shaved head. You know, the English guy. You have the guy, you know, that has the olive oil voice. You know, he's like English too, you know, squeaky voice. You got the guy from Japan. He's saying that he doesn't know no more, and he said already the watch market is dead. And the other guy too, please somebody put his name down there so they can see who I'm talking about. You know, he already said it, you know, esto está jodido, this is bad, you know. I cannot continue saying that the watch market is up and running. And then today we have the guy with the skin head, you know, with the shaved head. The guy with the shaved head, you know, and he wears like a fatigue jacket. He wears glasses, he's bald, and he speaks very proper. I also think he's from over there, you know. You know, that's that guy, right? That guy, but the guy with the bald head, what's his name? You know, the bald-headed guy, and he already said, papi, esto está jodido. Why we continue lying to the people? Pero coño, how do you guys expect? How do you guys expect, papi, like the people out there are suffering? Maybe not you 28, maybe not you 28, but you 28 don't count. You 28 don't count. You know, get it through your head. The English trooper, you know, he looks like a soldier, you know. He sits down in a dark little light. He looks creepy, you know. But he said already, esto está malo. This is not looking good. This is not looking good. Pero muchacho, I've been telling you for the last 4 years the watch market is dead. You know, it's been artificially. It's been artificially. You know, this watch, that watch, this way. And you can't. There's going to come a moment there que se va a trancar because this. Listen, when you're living a fantasy, let me tell you, if you ask me, well, Juan, let me ask you a question. Did you make money on that Corona era selling towels and countertops and slabs? Go ahead, ask me. Yes, I made nice money. But I made all that money not because people were working, not because people were getting tremendous check. I got the money of all the free government money they were giving out. Of all the free government money they were giving out, they dried up. You had the SBA, you had the PPP, you had the government grants, stimulus checks for your company, unemployment protection checks. Papi, there were people out there asking. They had 50 employees. Come on, listen to me. And I'm saying 50 because it's something normal, something normal. But let's say companies like so you understand me, and I don't know if they have trouble or not, but let's say American Airlines. How many employees do they have? You know? How much you need? I need to, you know? I'm still with the Formica. You know what I'm trying to say? Exactly. Que eres un hombre de principio, de éticas. You have ethics. You have principles. You know? But the rest, papi, here in Miami, the first thing that the people from Miami did, you heard it from me. You heard it from me. The first ones, what they did with that PPP loan check they got, you know, they pushed the button and the funds were in your bank account. I'm going to tell you 2 things they bought. I'm going to tell you 3. They bought a Lamborghini, orange Lamborghini. They bought a power speedboat that set in the side, Baja Panty. Baja Panty. You know, panty dropper. And then they bought the Richard Mill. And that's it. There's your your $5 million. You know, there it is. And throw it away on corking bottles in this club, that club. You don't believe me? We're number 1, man. This city is number 1. To have a lifestyle here, you have to have 1 job, a second job, maybe a 3rd part-time job, and you got to do a little hustle, if you know what I mean. Here in Miami. I want them to hear what I'm saying. And now it's over. You know it, Julius out of Miami. You know it. You see, I got there a little serious. They're telling you this. I have to make it funny. I don't want to sound too serious because, you know, Captain Louis might be looking at me, you know. I don't want nothing to happen to me. But that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from me, and this is what's going on. But it was not only Miami. It was all over the, all over the United States of America. People listen to me, man. When you are not used to having $500, right? When you're not used to seeing $500 and you suddenly get $500 that you've never had them in your life. I'm talking about $500. The first thing that person does with the $500 is he goes out and buys a pair of Michael Jordan sneakers. Then with the $500, let's say $200 already gone with the Michael Jordan kicks. You know, the Michael Jordan kicks, sneakers. And then he tries to buy his team that he loves in football, a jersey. Cost him $109, you know? The $500, Can you hear me? No audio, bro. They took it down. Melodian. Wow. Can you hear me? No, you done. We can hear now. Okay. Yes, super. Okay. I'm gonna say this quick before they take me down. I dropped too much knowledge for you guys. Did you guys hear what I said that my daughter, when I took my daughter to study in university, we took her to New Orleans. And did you guys hear that? That I said that? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start all over again. My daughter, when she went to study in the university, me and the mother, we took our daughter to a university in New Orleans, in New Orleans. In New Orleans. So we took our daughter to New Orleans. And we were settling her in her new house with her other girls, you know, and all that good stuff. So the mother would do the thing with my daughter, and I would stay in the hotel, or I would go with them shopping to buy sheets and pillows and all that good stuff, right? She went to Loyola. Exactly. My daughter went to Loyola. Exactly. 100%. My daughter went to Loyola. So when I was over there, next to my hotel, it was the Harris Casino. You know, Harris Casino. I mean, this thing is unbelievable. I think it has like, you went there, right? I think, you went to Loyola. Good for you. Good for you. So, so it was a casino there, and I went. I told my wife, I'm gonna go there to the casino just to walk around, you know, look around, and I'm gonna probably play some poker, right? That casino, that's the name of it. Beautiful place. I mean, I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. You could not smell the cigarette. It was beautiful. And they have poker. They have poker. No, Loyola University she went to, Loyola. And next you have, Loyola University. So I went to play poker, and I'm playing poker. This is the moral of the story. I'm playing poker, and I have this gentleman sitting next to me, an American gentleman. And he says, you know, this is a very friendly table. My name is this. And I said, oh, nice to meet you. And this is this person. This is Bobby. This is Junior. Blah, 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 blah. So he asked me, what's your name? And I said, my name is Juan. Oh, your name is Juan. You're Latino? And I said, yeah. Where are you from? And I said, I'm from Miami. And the gentleman that was sitting next to me playing poker, he looked at me. He says, wow, man, you live in the city where the most fraud there is. I said, really? You don't understand. When we get here, the news from you guys in Florida, it's Miami. Miami, not Orlando, not Fort Lauderdale, Miami. I said, wow, man, I'm not involved in that. He said, no. I'm just saying that we hear that you guys are number one, whatever it is. You guys are number one. And I just, I was like, wow, it's incredible that, Miami's the jungle, man. It's la jungla. And, okay. Let me tell you, Bobby, Miami, Bobby, listen to me, man. I remember some years ago when Miami was flooded with a bunch of people having houses with the CHT. They had all the houses converted into CHTs, right? Correct. This is unbelievable. They had an epidemic. Thank you, grow homes. I don't know how to say the word. I know how to read, and I remember all that. So what happened was, only in day, Papa. What happened was they had an outbreak of all these grow homes all over the place. So the IBF spoke to the people from Only in Dade and gave them the formula. He said, we're going to give you the blueprints. All these houses, they have tinfoil, tinfoil all over their houses. This is going to be my last story, and I'm leaving. So the IBF gave them the blueprints, and gave him the formula. Listen to me, it's very simple. Where is your target? The target is in the Redlands. Exactly, thank you. Redlands, Homestead, Cutler Ridge, Porine, La Sabuesera, Southwest area. Okay, fine, no problem. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna have 5 helicopters. This happened like around. It died out here. It already died out because that happened, and they called it Operation. Listen to me. Operation Christmas Tree. Papi, check this out. It wasn't because of us, of the people from Miami. The people from over there had to come from Washington to give us instructions how this is going to be done. And they took the helicopters and they went around all the areas that I talked to you about, the Redlands, Homestead, Cutler Ridge, Porine, Southwest. And at nighttime, they came out, Operation Christmas Tree. And when they went out, all the houses, you can see they were all lit up. Ta, 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 ta. Those were all the houses. Ha! 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 Mira! Everybody gone. Everybody gone. Santa Claus con todo mundo. Do you know about that Julius of Miami? That's unbelievable, and it worked like a charm. They already knew from the sky, boom. Operation Christmas Tree. It worked like a charm, Papi. They were flying. And they would go 1, 2, 3. They said, you're thinking, why are you saying that? Because it was lights all over the place. There was lights all over the place. And that's it. They just prepare, bang, they had them all. This one is here, that one is there, They cleaned the house. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this Watch Market Update show. I am not going to give you a Watch Market Update because my throat is killing me. I can give you more, more situations about our beautiful city. Listen to me, our city is beautiful. I love Miami. I will never leave to another city. My family members, I don't have no problem saying this. Some of them live in West Palm Beach. Some of them live in Boca Raton. I live in La Sabuesera. I live in Miami, Florida, and I will never change it for nothing in the world. Even though you might think I'm bad-mouthing Miami, I'm not. I'm just telling you that we're number one in whatever it is. We're number one. We got so big. We got so big here in Miami. We got so big in Miami that they had to bring an office, those people, it got so big of so many different tricks being done. Tricks are for kids. So many tricks they had to assign. They had to assign a building for Miami. That's it. You guys go there, service secret. You go over there. We need to finish these people. So it's the way it is. Good night, Dr. E. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Papa, driving that bike. So, you heard a little bit. I'm going to let you guys go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being all here with me today. Thank you for supporting the channel by being here. That's the most important thing. All right, guys? I hope you learned something with all the gold and all the good stuff that I talked to you guys about. All right? Be smart and learn. And be smart when you have to let go. When you have to let go of that goal. Don't hold on to it. I already brung you here. I brung you to the light. I brung you to the 4,400, Papa. And when I started telling you guys, it was at $1,600. Anyway, guys, take care and brush your hair. Take care. Ciao.